Hey, what's up, stranger? Check it out. I'm working with pork chop today, and I have acquired some tomatoes, and I'm going to make some tomato and rice, and I also have some leftover white button mushrooms. So I'm gonna wash these off real quick. Yeah, they like to get away from me. As you can see, it has dirt on it. This is a white button mushroom, so you gotta wash them off. You don't want to use hot water like I'm using. I'm gonna turn that off. So use cold water to rinse your mushrooms, the white button mushrooms. So that's what I'm doing. Getting all the soil off, and they will go right there. Now, what I'm going to do with these white button mushrooms, I'm going to make a mushroom gravy, and that's going to go over these pork chops. I'm probably going to deep fry these pork chops, depending on how much oil I have. If not, I will bake them and season them up really good. And yes, I'm going to turn these tomatoes into tomato and rice, and these mushrooms will go into a gravy with these pork chops. And of course, rice, either rice or potatoes. I do have some nice potatoes. I could make a mashed potatoes and maybe mushroom gravy, or I could do a potatoes with tomato gravy. So yeah, everything is going to be utilized, and stay tuned for the outcome. Over here to my right, I have a stew that I made yesterday. I used carrots, potatoes, tomatoes, celery, and I also put chicken in it. So it was a stewed chicken that was in this pot right now. Not now, but yesterday. It was like full to the top. I used all the veggies that I had, and I still got some left. I love to utilize everything I get my hands on too. You know, my daughter is very resourceful, so she brought me a lot of vegetables, and I'm going to show you what I do with those vegetables. Like, the first dish was a stewed chicken with potatoes, tomatoes, carrots, green beans, and chicken. You know, of course, you want to put your onion in there. You want to put your seasoning in there. You can put like onions, green peppers, whatever pepper you like the taste to go in to your stew. I also put a bay leaf in this. So it turned out really good, and I'm gonna have to find something to do with that. You know, I may not make a rice. I may just I may not make tomato and rice. I might just use this stew and these potatoes to put over a bed of rice and save my mushrooms. But to keep this up a notch, I can add more tomatoes and mushrooms. Yes, I also put mushrooms in here. Baby carrots, large carrots, tomatoes, green beans. Everything I name is in this pot. So what I'll do, now that I see what I'm working with, I'm going to add these tomatoes in this pot and make a thicker stew. But it's not, it has the chicken in it already, the chicken flavor. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to use this stew to go over a bed of rice. And I'm going to add these tomatoes and these mushrooms into this pot. It's already flavored, seasoned, and it's from yesterday. So you know those juices and flavors is really gelling together. They made a really great broth. So yeah, I washed these tomatoes. I'm gonna take these green binds off it, and I'm going to boil them, and then I'm gonna peel them. I'm gonna take the skin off because I use cherry tomatoes with here and this right here, and I did not take the skin off. But these, since they're so large, I'm gonna boil them, and I'm going to dice them up into this pot right here. Okay, and these mushrooms gonna go inside also. Mushrooms are sliced up in the pot. You know, you can eat mushrooms raw. So, yeah, you can just drop them on in, and they're gonna combine with all these, with all the broth and stuff, and it's gonna be thicker. I have some water boiling on the side. Always start with cold water anytime you cook. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drop these tomatoes into that pot, and we're gonna take the skin off that tomato. And once that skin come off the tomato, I'm gonna dice that tomato up and put it in this pot with the mushrooms.